This is my 17 miles face. Hello, and welcome to part 2 of my little abandoned railway adventure. Last time I stopped at Christ Hospital. I'll put a link on the screen if you missed that first instalment. End of the last one, we got about 19 miles done, and so we're going to push on today and do the second half, and the aim is to get, I think it's another 18 miles done, which will take us down to the coast, Shoreham-by-Sea. We'll see how we go camping wise, because I don't have anything organised or set up at all, so it's exciting or a bit nerve-wracking depending on how you look at it. Now, I know I was moaning quite a bit towards the end of part 1 about the monotony of this type of hiking, but actually, I'm going to be honest with you, I've been really looking forward to part 2 and finishing this hike. Just under 6 miles in today, so what's that, about mile 25, and I am at a beautiful spot. This is West Grinstead railway station, and the best thing about the Downs Link is the way the stations along the way, not all of them, but the way some of them have been sort of preserved, and you can just sort of step back in time for a few moments, and it's lovely. It's really lovely. Also, we've got all these nice benches and sort of picnic tables around as well, so it's a nice spot for families to come to, and for hikers, of course, to get their stinking feet out and air them. So we are nearly halfway through today's distance, and on the horizon there I can see the South Downs Way. That is a good sight. Halfway, so having a bit of a lunch break by this lovely little river. Can't work out the name of it. If I can, I'll put it on the screen, but I think it feeds into a larger river that's going south to the coast, and I am going to enjoy my my rather squashed, slightly warm Greg's tuna sandwich. Okay, just coming up to 1 PM, short quick lunch and onwards. Mile 10 for today. So in total, so far, I think we're up to about mile 28 and a half, 29, something like that. Weather's changed for the better. Lovely and sunny, blue skies. Rain seems to have disappeared, which is appreciated. The next main populated area I'm going to be going to is Henfield. Then after that it's Bramber, and then I haven't got far to go after that. I'm just kind of going to follow the river, I think, until it gets down to the sea. I just met an amazing couple, 2 cyclists here on the Downs Link, and they were just stopping having a break, and I introduced myself and asked them where they were heading, and they said Istanbul, and I thought they were kind of winding me up to begin with, but they are. So they started at Salisbury They're heading down the Downs link, going to get the ferry from Newhaven over to Dieppe, and then they're going to cycle over through the continent and end up hopefully in Turkey. It's just quite incredible, really. And they were telling me their story, how they've had a couple of pubs and they've just sold their latest pub, and they just decided they want to do it now while they can, so they just sold everything, no commitments, and heading on this big adventure. I think sometimes it's the people that really make these hikes. You meet such interesting people that perhaps you just wouldn't meet ordinarily, and you hear their stories and their kind of goals or what they're going for, and it's fascinating and can be quite inspirational sometimes too. Something exciting to tell you. This is the first bit of elevation in 12 miles. That's how flat the Downs link is. Coming up to 2:30, mile 14. Feet are starting to hurt quite a bit at the moment. Back on the roads, as you can see, so taking its toll a little bit on the soles of the feet. Got to get up over the South Downs and then down to the coast. Kind of passing through, I think we're passing through Steyning at present, and then I think we're about a mile or two out of Bramber. Right, so according to the information behind me, we're at the end of the railway line, I think, or very near to it, and that's the Steyning Line. And we're 1 mile from the South Downs Way, and I think we're about 4 miles from Shoreham. There we go. South Downs Way, everyone. Where the Downs link meets the South Downs. So whatever happens from this point on, I can say that I have now walked from the North Downs to the South Downs. We've just got about 2 more miles to go, and it's this way. And I think we are actually going to share the same trail as the South Downs Way, and that will take us to Shoreham. So I was on the South Downs for about 5 minutes, come off of it, and now just following the River Adur. I think that's how you pronounce it, Adur, not sure. And that river just takes us all the way down to Shoreham now. So we're really close. It's quite exciting actually to think that this trail is nearly completed, nearly in the can. So yeah, I think it's about 1.5 miles, maybe 2 miles, touching distance. I really fancy, you know what I really fancy? I really fancy scampi and chips. It's Sunday. I don't know whether there'll be anywhere open. It'd be lovely, wouldn't it? This is my 17 miles face. The thing is, I don't have a plan for camping, so I'm sort of looking around, ready to see whether I can walk 3 words, any little spots to come back to. But nothing yet. I'm at the old toll bridge here in Shoreham-by-Sea, and according to the sign behind me, I'll just show you, it looks like I've actually completed it. It seems like there's two endings. There's this one, and then I think there's another one that my hiker app is saying is about half a mile just further along the river, but the estuary. But I think I'm at the official ending. Well, hello, welcome to camp. I never thought it was going to happen, to be honest with you. So I kind of scouted out an area online, outside of town, shall we say, before I came on the hike, and I got here and yeah, it wasn't too bad, but there were just some bits where I just wasn't feeling that comfortable. There'd been some people that had been there before, and they were kind of like burnt trees and things like that, and you know, you just don't know whether those sorts of people are going to come back. So I was umming and ahhing and getting a bit fed up, and eventually I found this. I found this hot spot, absolute beautiful spot, which just overlooks everything that I've just done pretty much, or the last bit of the hike anyway. And I can see Shoreham, I can see the English Channel. It's windy. I can't tell you that. Oh, this tent is not. It's probably the worst pitch I've ever done of this tent, but the poles just kept falling down. So I was doing everything I would normally do, and I was just battling against the wind. So I've got the views, but I've got the wind. So could be an interesting night. But anyway, I've got somewhere to camp. I'm not feeling that hungry because the scampi and chips gods were smiling on Ben's hikes and camps this evening, and as soon as I finished the Downs link, I walked into town, and there in front of me was a fish and chip shop, and I went in and they had scampi and chips, and I hardly had to wait, and it was delicious. It was so nice. I was so glad that I had that. So I don't know, I did bring some food. I don't know if I'm going to eat it. I'm quite full up. Might just make a cup of tea. But before I do that, I just wanted to show you something. I have got a new AirPad, and this has been sent to me by Camperlists, and it is made by Light Tour, and it is Light Tour's latest air mat. So I'm going to just unroll it inside the tent and tell you what it's all about. So it comes in this kind of inflation bag, which is quite nice because it means it sort of doubles up as a carry case as well. So I'll just get it out. Now I did try this. I went camping last night. I tried this already. There it is. So you might be thinking, what's so special about this mat? Okay, let's unroll it and I'll tell you. Right, so the USP for this mat is that it is dual chamber. So what does dual chamber mean? It means it inflates underneath and on top. So the thinking behind this is that if you ever had a puncture, you would have one chamber that still retained air, and you could still use it when you were hiking to sleep on, so you were still slightly raised from the ground. So we've got one valve there, and we've got another one on the back, and from practicing at home and last night, I've learned that you need to inflate the underneath first, then the top, and then you're good to go. So when you inflate just the underneath, it looks a bit strange. It looks like a sort of giant crisp, because it all kind of curls up at the sides, and that's because I haven't done the other side. But I suppose, you know, in the event of one of the chambers did go, you know, you could still sleep on that. But I am now going to inflate the other side. Okay, so there we go. That's fully inflated on both sides now. and it's quite sturdy. I'm going to put some measurements on the screen for this particular model. I opted for the medium size one, which just about fits me. In hindsight, I wish I'd gone for the larger one. It says it's 183 centimetres long, but my X-Ped sleeping pad is also 183 centimetres long, and I think it is definitely longer than this. Now, when I tried this last night when I went camping, I was a little bit sceptical because of the size of it, because I'm used to longer, wider mats. But actually, I found this quite comfy last night, and I also found it really warm as well. So Light Tour are saying that this has an R rating of 7.5. Now, it is May, it is not the coldest of months, but still it did, retain a lot of heat and kept me quite cosy when I was in it last night. I have a feeling this is going to be a bit of a flappy tent night, like it was on Kinder. I'm hoping it's not going to be as bad, otherwise I'm going to be knackered tomorrow. In terms of the Downs link, it's done. I actually enjoyed the second half more than the first half, and I was trying to think why that is. Maybe it's a little bit more interesting, maybe I was more mentally prepared for the straight lines that walking along the railways. Maybe there was a little bit more variety in the second half. So would I recommend it as a trail? I think I would. You just need to be prepared that it's a bit different to other hikes. You are walking straight and you're walking flat for 37.5 miles. There's literally no hills. There's a couple of little gradients, but that's it. But historically, it's fascinating. Just seeing kind of the old railway stations and the kind of the remains of things, walls and platforms. I really enjoyed that kind of side of it. And the other thing, I suppose, for me, sort of being from the south of England, having done a lot of walks on the South Downs, it's nice to have done the walk now from the North Downs down to the South Downs, and I feel like I'm joining up the dots of kind of where I've grown up or where I've walked and so on. Okay, sun's gone down, extremely tired, can't bother to eat, can't bother to boil any water, so I am going to just lay down and just drift off. Well, good morning, one and all. It's not even 7 o'clock and I'm completely packed up. Quite proud of myself for that. Two reasons. I wanted to get out of here early because dog walkers, and also it's getting light at about 4:45 or something, so I just woke up early anyway. So quick coffee and a bit of porridge, and just going to head back into town now. And I've got to get a train back to Christ's Hospital, where I started the Downs Link yesterday, and get my car. Oh yeah, light tour mat last night. Was pretty comfortable. Only issue was I was slightly sliding off of it, but that was just because of the ground, not the mat. I'm going to put some details to the Downs link down in the video description where you can get more information, download GPX files, that type of stuff. So I hope it's been useful. If you've not seen part 1, go back and see part 1 and this will kind of all make sense, I guess. I'm going to put another little hike up on the screen now that I think you might find interesting if you like this one. Take care and see you soon.